Uphere Black Budget CPU Air Cooler. Model number N1055CF. This is the budget CPU cooler we will be taking out of the box today, running down through the specs, and see if it's ready for that next gaming computer build. There will be timestamps in the description below. If there's a certain part of the video you'd like to jump to, you're more than welcome to do so. Some other links down there that may interest you. Don't forget to do all that fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. Without wasting a lot of your time, let's flip you over there and we'll see what this budget CPU cooler has to offer you. Alright, here we go. Like I said in the intro there, we will be taking out of the box and running down through the specs of it as we do so. So let's go ahead and take this thing out of the box and see what it has to offer you. Open it up with just a little piece of foam there on top. Get that pulled up off. Alright, then it looks like we got the CPU cooler itself with the fan pre-attached to it there. Inside of a bag. Set that to the side. We have the installation guide, which we'll definitely need to keep a hold of that one. The Uphere installation guide. Sounds fancy. What do we got here? This is our hardware mounting bag. It should have about everything you need to mount it to any brackets that it's compatible with. Other than that, the box is empty. You do have one little piece of foam in the bottom just for padding, I guess. So let's put some of this stuff away here, and we'll pull the fan and the heat sink over here and we'll take a look at it. Alright, take the bag off of it. Looks like we got some lighting here on top of it. Take the fan off here. It's got the little metal clips like most of the budget CPU coolers has got to them. And take the other side off there. This does have LED lighting to it, but this is not an ARGB, or it is not a RGB. It is just multi-colors. It don't get controlled. It just does whatever it wants to do, I guess. Let's take a look at the fan here. The fan actually feels pretty stable. Not bad. It is an Uphere fan. Looking at the fins on it there, it looks like it would do pretty good for airflow, or it would do pretty good for blowing through a radiator or something like that. It kind of surprised me that the housing's pretty strong on it. A little bit better than what I figured from up here, actually. Got a couple arrows there that shows you which way the air flows and which way the fins blow on it. Like I said, the lights on it is not addressable, so you can't change it. It is what it is. I'm sure it's got some kind of rainbow puke to the lighting of it. But the fan don't feel too bad. We do have a 4-pin PMW fan header here for the fan. And you do have the RGB or the LED lights connector that hooks up into the top of the heat sink. As far as the fan specs go, okay, the fan itself is 120 millimeters by 120 millimeters here by 25 millimeters, which is pretty typical for most 120 heat sinks. The fan speed will go from 600 all the way up to 1800 RPMs plus or minus 10%. So if you add 10% on to 1800, what is that? Close to 2000 RPMs if the fan needs to go that high. The noise level is anywhere from 15 to 25 dBA. That should be pretty quiet, I guess. I don't know if I believe those or not, but that's what it says. The airflow is 29.37 CFMs, and it'll go up to 86.34 CFMs. They say it will get rid of 180 watts of heat. The LEDs is dynamic rainbow LEDs. Like I said, it's non-addressable. That's a little bit of information I can find on the fan. There ain't a whole lot to it. That's pretty well it for the fan. Let's get the cooler over here. We'll take a look at the cooler and see what the build quality is on it. Like I said, it does have black plastic plate on it. Looks like it's got some LEDs underneath of it. By talking about the fan, we can tell they ain't ARGB or RGB. There is some lighting behind it. Does seem to be black oxidized or some kind of black coating on it, black paint or oxidization. By looking down the sides over here, it does have the spacers in it that keeps the fins of it separated where it should be. See if I can get you to where you can see down through it. There you go. Maybe you see down through it a little bit there. Fins look pretty thin on it. They're pretty cheap thin fins. It looks like it may let quite a bit of air go through it. Not too bad, I guess. And I've seen worse, but I've seen better as well. So not too bad. Flipping it up here, we do have a 5 heat pipe design, which is copper. Pull the sticker back here a little bit, and it does mount into the aluminum block here at the bottom. And from the other ones I've tested, it's got 4 or 5 or 6 heat pipes. They usually do pretty good. The fins are all aluminum. The sizes that we have is 124 millimeters this way. We have 76 millimeters thick, and from the top of the plastic to the bottom of it, we have 155 millimeters tall. So it is still on the pretty small side. The fins don't seem to be real bendable. I mean, it seems like they're gonna hold up pretty good. The heat pipes, I don't know if you can actually see how thick they are. They look to be a little bit thin, but on a more budget CPU cooler like this, I guess you can expect that. Feels pretty sturdy, feels pretty stable. You know, there ain't a whole lot of flex or anything to it, which is a good thing. I guess we'll pull the mounting kit over here, and we'll see what the mounting kit offers with it. Okay, what do we got? 2 different back plates, it looks like. Unless one goes underneath the motherboard and the other one goes on top of the motherboard, or looks like we got another set of clips for a fan if you want to do a push-pull configuration with fans on this cooler. Kind of nice they give you the option to do that. None of these little baggies is marked with what is what on any of them. We got two little screws here that's spring loaded. Looks like the tension springs for something. And then we have 4 little standoff looking posts here. Looks like they go up through the back plate. We got 4 spacers here, plastic spacers. We do have a little bit of thermal compound here that is not branded. And we do have 4 thumb screws. Hold the plates together that smash the motherboard together. The sockets that the CPU cooler will fit on is Intel LGA 1151, 1150, 1155, 1156, 1366, 775, 1200. For AMD, it has FM1, FM2, FM2 Plus, AM3 Plus, AM3, AM2, AM2 Plus, and AM4 support. Alright guys, and that pretty well wrap it up for the unboxing and the first impressions of it here. We looked at everything that comes with it. Let me get it reset up here, and I will come up with the conclusions of the video, and I'll let you know my final thoughts on this one. Alright y'all, we took this thing out of the box. I showed you what all comes with it. Ran down through what sockets it fits, what size it actually is. For the day of the filming, this thing runs about $30 on Amazon. It is pretty well built. The fan seems to be pretty sturdy. The heatsink itself is pretty sturdy. The way it mounts to the motherboard, it is kind of an old style mounting system. I haven't seen it in many years. Kind of surprises me that they're going with this kind of mounting system with the 2 brackets to sandwich the motherboard together. I did notice when I was going through the mounting hardware that them black standoffs is the spacers that holds up that top plate from the motherboard. Kind of questioning that, just for the simple fact that Intel and AMD both have different height measurements for the CPUs. I'm kind of curious on how that's going to work when we get into the install of it. Also, by looking at it, them heat pipes on the bottom of it, I don't know if you could tell in the video or not, but they ain't really flat. There's some that's raised up higher than others, or they just ain't flat. They need to be flat, that way you have good contact with the CPU to keep it cool. I don't know how that's going to affect the cooling of the CPU cooler, or how much thermal paste you're going to have to actually use, because you're going to have to use a little bit more thermal paste to be able to fill in them gaps. But for that $30 price tag at the day of the filming, I don't think this thing's worth the money. It's only got the LEDs on it. It don't have the ARGB or the RGB lighting on it like a lot of other ones in this price range you got. As far as the mounting system of it goes, I'm still kind of questioning them spacers and if it's going to make good contact with the CPU or not. Like I said, AMD and Intel have different measurements for them for the height that's needed. That may be a little bit interesting as well. There will be an install of this cooler coming up on the AM4 platform on the channel, and there will be some temperature testing to see how this thing actually compares to other CPU coolers in this price point. If you'd like to pick one of these up, or you'd like a little bit more information on it, there'll be links in the description below. There's also some other links down there that may interest you. Don't forget to do all that fun YouTube stuff on the way down that description box. You all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.